Hey Amarillo, I'm Skylar Gallup, and you're listening to Hey Amarillo. It's the interview podcast featuring some of the most interesting people and stories of Amarillo, Texas. We record every week at Amarillo College's Innovation Outpost. The I.O. supports education, workforce development, and industry growth by inspiring and facilitating innovation in the Texas Panhandle. Today's guest is Adrian Meander. Adrian's story is one of growing where you're planted and giving back along the way. He got a job in his early 20s as a bank teller at Amarillo National Bank and is a vice president at that bank today. Adrian donates his time and expertise in many ways in our community and is fortunate enough to see real examples of when his work, mentorship, and care have impact. Here's Adrian. Adrian Meander, welcome to the Hey Amarillo podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me, Skylar.
Glad to have the conversation. So let's start. You are from Amarillo, correct?
I am born and raised right here in Amarillo.
What schools did you come up through?
Elementary, Southeast Amarillo. So I went to Sunrise Elementary, Bowie Middle School. Then I was at Caprock Longhorn for 3 days. Then I transferred to the Tascosa High District and graduated from the proud Tascosa High.
Oh, very good. Those are great schools.
Yes.
3 days at PD, huh?
Caprock.
Oh, excuse me, Caprock. That's correct.
Yes, I was a freshman at Caprock for 3 days. Then we moved to the Tascosa High District. So graduated at Tascosa High.
So what was teenage or young Adrian like? What did you do at Tascosa? What were you into?
Believe it or not, my whole family was athletic. I didn't do sports really. My dad was an athlete. My mom was an athlete. My sister. My son is even an athlete. I went to school just a typical student and involved in civic groups and clubs. So pretty much what I did in high school. So you could probably say I was the oddball to all of my family. So.
What kind of civic groups and clubs did you do?
We did what was called 3R ACA, Rockin' Rebels Rebelling Against Chemical Abuse. I tapped into student council for a little bit and kind of tapping into some art clubs for a little bit. And that was pretty much it.
Nice.
So,
what kind of art?
I worked with ceramics and paintings. You know, I'm not an artist, but I just felt at the time in high school it was pretty exciting and fun. So that's what I did.
That's fun. Is it something you continue to do? Or
No, not even. In high school, I did ceramics, like ceramics 1, ceramics 2, working with pottery and clay, and I thought it was fun, but I hadn't done that since.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, you know, in high school, you take the electives, and so that's what I took, was some electives, and I liked it. Art was pretty cool. Painting was awesome. I really couldn't draw or anything, but to kind of paint and work with pottery and clay was pretty interesting, so I liked that.
Nice. And I think it's always cool to find outlets, especially for anyone, but I think especially for like teenagers, you know, find something to put your time into, put your energy into. That's positive.
Right, yeah.
What did you do after high school?
After high school, well, college. I kept college local. I did Amarillo College and West Texas A&M University, so I kept it all local in high school. Was a business major, business administration. Went on to WTE, kept it business administration and business marketing, so I got a marketing degree.
So you've worked for Amarillo National Bank for a long time.
25 years exactly.
Nice.
Yes,
When did you step in with A&B? You're hearing like business and marketing. When did that transition to banking?
After I attended Amarillo College and graduated Amarillo College. I was working in retail, actually, assistant manager in retail at a shoe store. And so when I got my degree in business admin from Amarillo College, I was like, I want to work into a business field, get into working for a company or corporation, into the business aspects of things. And so I applied in 2000 at Amarillo National Bank as a teller, started working as a teller and got into banking and liked it. And here I am today, still continue to work there. So
I think recently, kind of societally, the workforce has shifted. I mean, I don't know the metric off the top of my head, but the duration of working for a single employer is much shorter, certainly than 25 years. Talk about the process of coming up really through your VP, correct?
Vice President, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So talk about coming from teller all the way up to Vice President. What's kept you there?
Well, anybody knows Amarillo National Bank. the culture at Amarillo National Bank. It's a local bank, home-owned bank. It's been in the Ware family for 5 generations now, over 130 plus years. So working at Amarillo National Bank, the people and the culture is what reel me in. I just like working there. It's a great, friendly, family-owned, operated bank, community supported. Just kind of, you work in the bank and you get this variety of all different kind of departments there at the bank. Operations, loans, mortgage, commercial, bookkeeping, asset management, trust, accounting, compliance, all those areas. And I pretty much started in the operations working at a branch, customer service. And so did that as a teller, got into being a supervisor, from a supervisor, becoming an operations manager into branch management and lending. And running a branch now is what I do. So I manage the North branch, Amarillo Boulevard, North Taylor. I oversee about a crew of 13. And so working with people, help people, training people, growing people, continue to promote, market the bank is what I enjoy doing. And so, again, just the culture and the people and service, just working with customer service is what I enjoy most.
Yeah. About the culture, I'm interested because I think so many companies throw that word around, right? It's all, we're working on our culture, we're pouring into our culture. And I'm always curious as to learn about when a company gets it right, when they've got companies that are like, I've been there 25 years for the culture. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's just a byproduct of how long the bank has been around, that it's rooted in town and that it's family owned? Or do you feel like your experience has been that there's like a really intentional like culture building with the employees at Amarillo National?
I think it's a little bit of the stability, how long the bank has been around, knowing the panhandle, knowing the city, knowing what your people want, what your people like, just hiring the personality, train the skill. You have to be a people person. You have to be motivated. You have to be energetic. You have to enjoy what you like doing. And I think it's a little bit of just knowing Amarillo, knowing the economy in Amarillo, what people want, what the citizens want, what the town is like, what the city is like. And I think when you tie all that in to keeping it local and supporting homegrown, that goes a long way.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of bank buyouts.
Yeah.
I think probably nationally. You would certainly know more about that than I would. But I was like Facebook scrolling the other day, and the Panhandle Plains Historical Museum posted some work that they were doing, archiving, or that they perhaps had done archiving like old letters. And one of them was from Amarillo National Bank, like in the 1800s or just something nuts. And I was kind of thinking about this interview, and it just struck me. Because we, obviously it's in the name. The bank is, from here, but really how long they've been kind of like providing financial and community services was really special. And to see, it's on the top, it's very cool old letter, really, with the beautiful Amarillo National Bank logo, and like one of the Ware's names was still on it. And I was just struck really, or I guess maybe reminded how deeply rooted the bank is in our community. And I think to see even today, Amarillo National Bank's logo is on every event. It's at every sports field that my kids play basketball at. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's been like that for a long time.
Yeah, it's definitely, they give back.
Yeah.
They give back. They support the community. A lot of us officers in Amarillo National Bank, we serve on boards, we serve on committees. We go into these schools, whether it's elementary, middle school, high school. We do financial literacy, job fairs, career fairs, talking about the banks. Schools come into the banks. We give tours. We invite students to sometime come in and shadow us. So it's very interesting. It's amazing on what the bank has done. And I think because when you look at that over the years and how it's grown, and as Amarillo grow, is just to continue to support, supporting your town, supporting the community, supporting nonprofits, giving back. And I think that says a lot, and it helps when you work or you bank at a financial institution that's going to support the local economy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you on the North Side branch?
I've been at the North Branch probably going on about 6 or 7 years. North Amarillo, it's one of those part of town that, I would like to see growth. We continue to hope it will grow. I enjoy being at the North Branch. We're not as busy as some of the other branches, demographically where we're located. Mm-hmm. There's growth over there, but it's just not growing as fast as, South Amarillo, Southwest Amarillo, some parts of Southeast Amarillo. So for the North, we stay pretty busy and consistent.
Yeah. I know that we talk a lot about, the North Side needing reinvestment from businesses, from our city council, from, all sorts of aspects, housing reinvestment and redevelopment, like infill stuff. I'm wondering, how much do you touch of that, like in the lending? Like, are you working with like North Side owned businesses to like invest and kind of keep some of those local businesses up there, or is that not something that you deal with as much?
Well, banking, I mostly consumer lending, so not mortgage or commercial.
Okay.
We don't do that at the North Branch, nor
Cool.
loan officer. I just do consumer lending. So when we do have businesses that come in and express about commercial lending or business lending for business development or growth or expansion, we do that at Amarillo National. And so what I do, we get them in front of the right commercial business lender that could help them. As far as serving in the community, serving on boards, there's some organizations that I serve on that talk about business development and growth in North Amarillo and how that plays a part in North Amarillo and how to come about. So I am exposed to through businesses growing in North Amarillo and things like that. And so through conversations and networking and other colleagues that when the question is asked and, how can I grow my business or how can we get this industry to come to North Amarillo, or I'm over here in North Amarillo, my business is kind of struggling. What are some pointers or some tips? And so we can get them in front of the right person to kind of help answer those questions.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that I wanted to visit with you is you're involved in like a slew of really interesting organizations. I think, kind of like citywide, and then as you've noted, kind of focused on the north side of our city. Talk about some of those and why put your time into them?
Over the years, I've served on quite a few boards over the years. Right now, I'm invested on 3 boards. I serve in Northside Toy Drive, that's a good one. St. Anthony's Legacy Redevelopment Corporation and Leadership Amarillo Canyon are the existing boards that I serve on as well. I mentor. We go into, with my fraternity brothers, we go into Hamlet Elementary, mentor 4th and 5th graders. We've been doing that for the past few years now. So just being tied in investment in community is kind of like giving back. Northside Toy Drive, that's a big one that was. We just celebrated our 13th year where we just try to help bring Christmas and put a smile on families' faces, children's faces, and help support families in the time of Christmas. We don't police it. It's just was birthed out of North Amarillo, but we service kids from all over. And we have what's the black tie every year. That's like what we call a party with the purpose that leads up to the Northside Toy Drive. Again, we just wrapped up the 13th year. So
That Black Tie Affair has become a huge event.
it's a huge event. I mean, it's just a party with the purpose. It's just like a nice Christmas party where you can come and there's a night of dinner, dancing, casino, networking, and just for a good cause.
Yeah.
And then the toy drive, I often tell anyone, if you attend the black tie, to show up and see the toy drive where you see the families and the children standing outside a line to receive a toy, and then they're giving books and there's lunch. There's a job career fair that we partner with different agencies around Amarillo where families can learn about different jobs and opportunities that they have, and resources are provided and given. And so it's just amazing event to see. We service about over 1,000 kids every year.
That's
so
huge.
yeah, that's huge. So that's
So
big.
impactful.
So impactful. But North Amarillo, a lot of people been a product. I have family in North Amarillo, attend church in North Amarillo, and over the years, even mostly I grew up in Southeast Amarillo, but I spent a lot of time in North Amarillo visiting family, going to church over there, going to the neighborhood parks and pools and things like that. So I have ties to North Amarillo, and so North Amarillo is just a part of town that it's not as thriving as most other parts of the city that, there's always some hopeful, and just continue to hope that we can get some industry over there to where it just continue to thrive and kind of sew back into North Amarillo.
I would say, though, I think North Amarillo has a much stronger, like, social structure. To be able to support events like the Toy Drive and some of the other, the other organizations and events and supports in that neighborhood, I think is because it has a really, really strong like network of people from North Side that are working in North Side. And I think it's really remarkable up there.
Yeah. And that's one thing about the community in North Amarillo is just, as most people, whatever in community you go to, if you're a product that community and you either leave Amarillo or you work in a different part, I mean, you come back and you continue to work there and sow into it and pour into it and come back and visit North Amarillo. And, believe it or not, yeah, North Amarillo, it has potential. It does have potential. And so we just always hope for the best and continue to, I enjoy working in North Amarillo. Like I said, I have ties to North Amarillo, continue to attend church over there and still have family living over there and going into the schools over there and mentoring and attending events over there and to see industry go over there, the North Side Linen Services, St. Anthony's Legacy Redevelopment Corporation.
What is this? I'm unfamiliar.
The St. Anthony's Legacy Redevelopment Corporation is a nonprofit that I serve on to kind of help. They were kind of the working force to get the old St. Anthony's Hospital.
It's the building? Okay.
The Commons at St. Anthony's, working along with the North Heights Advisory Association, coming together, and St. Anthony's Legacy Redevelopment Corp played a big part into get the jump start and kick off for the new Commons at St. Anthony's, the St. Anthony's Hospital, the prehistoric part that's now going to be affordable assisted living here in the near future. That's what came out of that, and St. Anthony's Legacy Redevelopment Corp played a big part in kind of help jumpstart that.
Yeah,
along with the North Heights Advisory Association, they were kind of partners and kind of brainstorming, got together and to say what could come out of the old St. Anthony's Hospital, and that's what happened.
It's that beautiful building up on, what is it, like Taylor and just off the
Polk Street and Amarillo Boulevard, I believe.
It's beautiful,
yeah. It's,
and was just in kind of disrepair forever.
It was a hospital. Was a thriving hospital back in the 80s, early 90s, I believe. It's a thriving hospital and then it sat vacant for years and years and years and was given to a group in North Amarillo, and then people started networking, collaboration, and coming together and said, hey, these nonprofits were established and say, what can come out of this? And so that's what came out of it.
That's awesome, and such a perfect example of like reinvestment in a community. You've got this beautiful facility, and let's make it purposeful again.
And so with that, it's coming up. Who knows what the next step could be? Kind of adding more. Now that you've got this historic hospital, the historic part that's been revitalized and put some affordable living in there, and maybe some other industries will come in and kind of clean up the area around it, and housing development, more retail development, possibly a food hub could come out of it. So just anything's possible.
That's great.
So, yes.
That's great. Will the nonprofit that you're on the board, will it continue to exist after this project is complete? Do y'all know, or will it?
Well, that's funny. It's not a very big board. It's a small board, and we met months ago to say, hey, do we want to continue to operate, or do we want to dismiss the nonprofit? And so the majority of the board was like, let's just stick around, and maybe there's some other projects that we can help out with and see the outcome and kind of continue to help economic development in North Amarillo, whether it's affordable housing, whether it's bringing a supermarket or, more industry to the North Amarillo. So right now it's still going to be up and operating to kind of continue to help support North Amarillo.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that. That's great. This episode is sponsored by the Amarillo Art Institute at Arts in the Sunset. If you haven't been, this place is an amazing center for Amarillo's vibrant art scene. They have monthly events, including the First Friday Art Walk, which showcases the artists they have in residence, and there are some incredibly talented people with all sorts of wares and mediums there. They also offer classes for children and adults in things such as glass blowing, weaving, and pottery. All of it really is just so cool. Check them out on Facebook. That's Arts in the Sunset. You referenced Leadership Amarillo Canyon. I love that organization. How long have you been? I assume you went through.
I went through the program, class of 18.
Nice.
Awesome program. And then a couple of years after I graduated the class, was asked to serve on the board and was appointed to serve on the board. So I've been on that board probably going on 6 years now. So that's an awesome board to serve on, and just continue to support Leadership Amarillo and Canyon just for leadership development. And I don't know if you've been through that program or not, but
I have not, actually.
It's an awesome program where you get to go lot of companies send a representative from their company, and if you're in a role of leadership, some are in leadership, some are not, just to kind of go and you get to learn about Amarillo and tour industries and tour different companies and corporations. And it's about a 9-month program, and there's some tools that you talk about leadership, go through poverty simulations and things like that, and just group of where you get to network and you meet so many different people from different industries from all over. You have lawyers, you have engineers, you have educators, you have bankers in there, just people from all walks of industries in leadership at Amarillo Canyon. And it's a good organization. I don't know, and forgive me, I don't know how long it's been in existence, but it's been in existence for a while.
I don't know either.
So,
Y'all just had an executive director change.
We did. We just have Lisa Blake, who was
Lisa
executive director way before I got involved in the program. And so she stepped out, decided it was time to retire. And so she retired and transitioned out. And now we have Missy Macon, who it took on as the new executive role for Leadership Amarillo, and just doing amazing jobs and have great plans for the program and continued growth. So, yeah, it's doing well and still growing strong, and got a great board. So we're excited about Leadership Amarillo Canyon and what it's doing and the great things that going to continue to do.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think we work a lot on leadership development in town, and kind of the idea that you've referenced even within the bank about like growing your own and keeping them here, and kind of like trying to curb like the brain drain to Dallas. And I'm sure you guys experienced that, at the bank. You never moved away.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
And the thing with, and it's kind of like with Amarillo, I tell you, people that comes around to Amarillo, it'll grow on you. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. It's going to grow on you. And I had family and colleagues, they graduated high school, went off to college. Some came back working in industry, some didn't. And those who didn't, it's just kind of like, why are you still, Amarillo is like you either love it or it's a great place to raise a family. It grows on you, and being from here, I was asked, "Oh no, why are you still here? Why are you still in Amarillo?" I got here and got married, started a family, and started working, and here I am. And so I still enjoy Amarillo. I think when you're young and adventurous, it's probably at first might not be a place for you if you want to be young and adventurous and soar and do other things. But as far as like having a family, and the older you get, and you land a good job and a good career, and you're just like, "Hey, I like Amarillo because it's Amarillo." It's a city that's not too big, it's not too small. Our city is growing. You can probably used to some years ago, you could get somewhere in 15, 20 minutes. Now it's kind of taking a little bit longer, to see the growth in Amarillo, being from Amarillo, and you see the growth, for me, I like it. I think it's exciting that, hey, we're growing. And, if we can get other industries and to come to Amarillo and corporation business to bring job and attract job to where if you're from Amarillo and you go off and you get that education and get that training or license, whatever, to come back and bring it back to Amarillo or continue to work here and come back and pour and so into your community and where you're from. As same thing with educators. We get so many educators and they go on and they become administrators and principals and head coaches, and they don't get that in Amarillo, so they go off to the Metroplex and Dallas area, Houston, Austin, and so I think depending on what you want to do in industry, and the opposite, I've seen people, what brought you to Amarillo? Oh, my job, my career.
Right.
So same thing, you're here and then you get a better job somewhere else, and so they leave. So if we can get that rooted in Amarillo where you can bring retention and come back to Amarillo, I think that's a plus.
How old were you when you got hired on as a teller at A&B?
Early 20s. Yeah, you're going to make me tell my age, really? You
said right out of AC.
Yeah. I was, when I started working for Amarillo National, I believe 24 or 25.
Okay. I'm asking because I'm wondering, not to make you tell your age,
See?
but because I'm wondering if getting plugged into such a community rooted company in town, could you see yourself, even when you just took that bank teller job, right? Could you see yourself I have room to grow in this company without having to move away, where I can stay here, kind of raise a family and stuff? Do you think maybe that's part of, what kept you from taking a job somewhere else and, Wells Fargo, and maybe moving somewhere else or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's one thing I personally experienced and saw when I started working for the bank, and the opportunities to advance and to grow, and here in Amarillo, and the history that Amarillo National has, and that just being locally owned, and that it's a such a great bank and great company in that you have the opportunity to advance and move up and continue to work for a great company and stay right here in Amarillo.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's strong. I mean, that's like the success story, right? That's what
yeah,
when we work in that, like, workforce space, that's the idea.
yeah. We get employees. I mean, we have college students and everybody. They come to work and, oh, this is my major. I majored in pre-med or something, and they start working for the bank, and they like the bank, and so they switch their majors, and then they end up still working there.
Right.
So it happens. It's just life and decisions.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to be a scientist, or I was going to be a teacher, an educator, but I'm in banking now and I enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a bank teller for a hot minute in college, and I don't think that I expected it to be as much of a people job as it really is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether you operations day in and day out, such as myself being at a branch, working with customers day in, day out, one-on-one, face-to-face, asset management, trust, accounting, bookkeeping, digital banking, you're still going to be that people person. You're still going to interact with our customers, whether it's over the phone or customers make an appointment and they get to come to your department and talk to you face-to-face. So you're still, it's people involvement. Absolutely.
Well, and our finances are so deeply personal and obviously incredibly critical to our well-beings. And I just remember, I worked at the bank in Walmart, and I would have elderly people come in that I was just able to keep them from falling for a scam when they're trying to do the money order stuff. And, people coming in with, little babies and seeing the amount of money that they had or didn't have in their bank accounts. And I really think in retrospect, I learned quite a bit about people working as a bank teller.
You really do. You get to be that counselor, be that financial advisor. Sometimes in the stories that you hear, like you mentioned, elderly and fraud is just prevalent nowadays with this AI and fraud. It's just like something I'm preying on the elderly, and I've seen it to where
Awful.
customers come in and it's kind of like, some have fallen for a scam and it's too late, or some are about to fall for a scam and they come in and reach out to us and we get to save them just in the nick of time. You're like, yes. And then there's some who just go on and, your heart just goes out to them like, why did you do this? No, next time, please come in and see us, talk to us. We can help, So, and that's the part of my job that I really like, is kind of when you get to help your customers and you see a customer that come in and who someone's just trying to get started and in life, and the finances are just not there, or trying to get their credit established and come in and need loans, and you come in and you sit them down and you go over a financial plan with them and do some advising and counseling, and you get them on the right track, and then months later or years later they come in, hey, you gave me my first loan and this is where I am and look what I'm doing, and I own a home now and this, and and my credit scores, and it makes you feel good. You're like, wow, okay, so my service paid off.
That would be very, very impactful. That's a good day.
Yeah. And then when we go into these schools, middle school, high schoolers, and we talk to the high schoolers and do a career fair, and some go on to college and they come back, and when I'm out to dinner, sometimes I'll see a student walk up to me, he's like, hey, Adrian, you remember me? And of course I'm bad with names. I just told you I'm bad with names, but I'm good with the face. It's like, I do remember. He's like, yeah, you guys you were mentoring, y'all came to my school and you talked to me, and this is where I am. I'm in college. This is my second semester or my third year, and this is what I'm majoring in. And so I like to hear the success stories, and when they compliment you and just thank you for what you do and how we've helped them. And you may not, just because you talk to someone or gave them some advice, and sometimes you think they're not listening and they are. It's like, I remember when you said to do blah 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 and do this, and I did that, and this is where I am. And you're like, oh wow, okay, and look at you, now you're working and you're doing this and you're about to graduate. Good job. So
well, it's truly pouring back into your hometown, and then seeing other people that you've helped along the way pour back in, every locally owned business, every successful family, all of that strengthens our community.
Yeah, it does. It does, So I think that's always going to be there. That's always a plus. And so, and for me, I feel like that's what's giving back, and sometimes I'll tell, being in a minority, and sometimes growing up, when you see a minority, someone that looks like you in a profession, that it just motivates you and encourages you. When you see black lawyers, black teachers, black administration, black administrators, black engineers, black bankers, it just kind of helps motivate you to say, hey, I can become that. I too can be that, you know. So you don't always have to be a product of your environment. Sometimes you talk about poverty, and that's why education is so big. You know, the only way out of poverty is to educate yourself out, you know. And when you educate yourself out, just knowing who you are and your humble beginnings and background, and giving back and sowing into your community. So
And then it pays off.
it does. It pays off.
If you're starting or growing a small business and need some cash, let me tell you about Amarillo Venture Capital. They are a Hey Amarillo sponsor. They're locally owned, and what makes them different is they don't just invest in businesses. They invest in people. So whether you need $5,000 or $50,000, they offer flexible asset-based loans, often with funding in a week or less. And it's not just the money. They can connect you with their local network of legal, accounting, and business resources to help you succeed. Check them out at amarilloventurecapital.com. Okay, I'm back with Adrian Meander. Adrian, this is the part of the show we call 8 Straight. I've got 8 fast ones for you.
8 fast ones. Okay.
Let's do it. All right.
All right.
When you think of Amarillo 10 years from now, what do you hope for?
10 years from now, I hope for really growth in the industry, growth in our population. That's what I really hope for, is just growth in industry, see some economic growth and population growth.
You know, I really respect that, because I think that there are some people who are anxious about some of the growth that we're looking at. And, you know, I think people who love Amarillo kind of sometimes want to just keep it Amarillo.
Keep it Amarillo.
And maybe not recognizing that with thoughtful growth.
Right. Thoughtful, positive growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Growth to where you can attract, when I say population, to where families could come in Amarillo and just kind of, hey, this is Amarillo. I like Amarillo. It's growing. You know, we're probably never going to get that Dallas-Fort Worth population, but at least we can get some growth to where other industries can come in and bring more jobs to Amarillo. You bring more jobs, you bring more people, and you bring more growth. And
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Other than wind, what does this area have too much of?
Ooh, other than wind. Dust.
Yes.
I would say dust.
I agree.
Yeah.
I live on the south edge of town, and so there's construction now, but it's dusty.
Dusty.
It's dusty out there.
yeah. I would say dust.
Very good. What do we not have enough of?
What do we not have enough of? I would say recreational activities, adventure. You know, adventure things where you can go outside and maybe something like amusement park. Water parks, things like that, to where you can go and just kind of be outside and enjoy life outside, adventure.
Yeah. I know you've got kids, but I don't know how old.
Oh, my son, I have a stepson who's 31, and I have a son who's 25.
Nice.
So,
Okay,
yes.
good. I didn't know if
Yeah.
they were still little or not.
Oh, no, they're grown.
Yeah. What's your favorite local building?
My favorite local building in Amarillo, I would probably have to say the Paramount Building down on Polk Street. Just to walk in there and to see the decor and the architecture and the color. I would probably say the Paramount Building.
And favorite local restaurant?
Favorite local restaurant that I haven't been in, I don't know if it still exists, was the Outlaw Steakhouse.
Oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's kind of far out, like you're going towards the Amarillo Airport.
Okay.
The Rick Harrison International Airport, straight out third, I believe. Just the best steak I've had.
Nice. We'll have to look it up and see if it's
I hope
still
it's,
open.
Yeah.
Cool.
It would be Outlaw Steakhouse.
How do you describe Amarillo to people outside of the area?
Family, friendly, wide open spaces.
Yeah. What is the most underrated aspect of living here?
What's underrated is that I would say there's nothing to do. Mm-hmm. I think that's underrated. There's things to do. You just have to find and seek.
I agree with that very much. Okay, you have 4 hours to spend in the area, like Amarillo area, with someone that has not been here before. What would you do?
I would take them and show them what Amarillo has to offer, like our attractions. Going down to the Palladillo Canyon, Cadillac Ranch, maybe the Lake Meredith area. I know that's out of Amarillo, but showing them that, pretty much showing them what Amarillo has to offer in terms of places to eat, places to shop, kind of our little adventures, places that we have to go, showing them our museums, American Quarter Horse, things like that. So
Yeah.
I would take them and show them the city.
Show them around.
Hey, show them around.
Okay, Adrian, I like to end my interviews by asking my guests to endorse something. What is something that if a listener doesn't know about, hasn't tried, what would you suggest to them?
I would say I would really promote the Palo Canyon. I would promote the Palo Canyon, and then in the summertime when the musical drama Texas, I would endorse that. Go check out our canyon. Go check out the amphitheater down in Palo Canyon. That's what I would endorse.
Okay, Adrian, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Looking for the perfect date night? The Amarillo Symphony presents Romance at the Symphony, featuring the passion of Romeo and Juliet, the excitement of West Side Story, thrilling music from Gone with the Wind, plus soprano Sarah Beckham Turner singing beloved opera arias. It is perfect for this Valentine's season. Tickets at amarillosymphony.org. And that concludes this episode. Thanks to Adrian for the interview. Thank you to the Amarillo Art Institute, Venture Capital, and the Amarillo Symphony for supporting the podcast, and to Broderick Adams for editing every week. Executive producers on this episode are Jim and Barbara Whitten. And thank you for listening. This has been episode 434 of Hey Amarillo. I'm Skylar Gallup, and we hope you'll listen next week.